Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Sorry I missed last week. As you can tell, I'm still a little under the weather. Like my voice is a little bit raspier than usual, and I may cough during this live stream. We're going to talk about finance, budget. It'll largely be directed by your comments in the chat. So Alex is touching back in about the roommate situation. Um, they're not liking their room. Oh, they moved out a week ago, but now you have to worry about the next few months of rent until August when my friend moves in, which creates a new headache. Yeah. And I don't have any good solutions for like a short stay. I'm not sure if Airbnb might be an option. Here's kind of like a side note. I used to think that I wanted to get additional property and try and rent it out. I don't think I'm the type of person that would be good at being a landlord. I've always kind of been the kind of person where like I'll work with my staff who are often very young in their first jobs, they're wanting to move out, and I always think to myself, "Oh, like I have a room that I can rent to them for cheap, so I'll just do that." I don't do that anymore because one, it's against company policy, and two, it's just bit me in the behind. I've always thought like, oh, well, if they worked with me, like one, I know that they're gonna have a paycheck, and two, like if they're an awesome employee, they're probably like an awesome roommate. So I just feel like I used to hear somebody say that their picker is broken. I feel like my roommate picker is broken. And I feel like I might be like that as a landlord as well. I just feel like somebody would tell me like a sob story and I would work with them, and I feel like it would probably like I know that that's not good judgment. You really should just go off numbers and all of that. Um and then I worry, you hear stories about people moving in and refusing to move out. So I know that this is not helpful to your situation, but I definitely like I'm sympathetic to it. Um Would you consider getting like a fast food job, like as a side hustle? Because those are paying $20 an hour now. Good morning. Happy Sunday, Pinky. I hope everybody's doing well. For those of you that don't know, I manage a movie theater. Um, I manage a movie theater for my regular job. And so Debbie always likes to see the little green guy and she likes to know which movies are doing well. And this week it's definitely Challengers. That's the Zendaya tennis movie. I haven't seen it yet. It looks really good. I definitely want to see that one. But I haven't seen it yet, but that is the one that's doing the best right now. Okay. W says, finance question. Do I think winning the lottery would buy happiness? I would never worry about paying bills. I would invest 5 million in 4.5% saving account and live off interest alone. That's so tricky. Studies say that it doesn't. It would cut down on some worries, but then it would create other worries, right? Like there's definitely like a lot of scams. And if I won the lottery, I'm not sure I would tell people. And just in general, I don't think playing the lottery is a good idea, but I get it. I've certainly purchased a lottery ticket here or there. Um, it's fun to dream about what if, but I again like I'm a kind-hearted person, and I sometimes get worried about like getting taken advantage of. So I feel like I might not want to tell people, which is kind of sad. I think it creates a new set of problems. And it's so funny. Like $5 million would certainly be a lot of money, but look at how much houses are in California these days. If you won 5 million, first of all, they're going to tax it, right? You're going to pay like crazy taxes. And then to even get like a moderately nice house, it's going to be like more than 1 million here in California. So would you move? Money would not make my mom happy, but it would make life a lot more fun. Yeah, it would. And my mom and I were talking about planning a trip to go see my siblings in Georgia. And my mom's like worried about the flight right now. The last time the flight was hard on her and getting to and from the airport. Like we could pay like a personal butler. We could fly first class. So there are certainly things we could afford to take my mom to every different doctor in the world until we figured out like what is going on with her. That's always what I kind of wanted money for, is to try and help her figure out those kinds of things. So it's you wouldn't have to, like, if you were sick, you could go to the doctor, and that's comforting, right? Um, there are a lot of things that it definitely would give you the ability to do. But I think it would create other problems. And then a lot of people are bored when they're not working, right? Look back on the pandemic. Like I was happy to go back to work. I know some people did not want to go back into the office and things, but I'm happy to go back and be around people. I tend to move more. I tend to eat better. I tend to do better like when I'm working on a schedule, um, than when I'm just kind of home and I don't have to do anything. Alex said, I would like to think I'm financially disciplined. And if I get even 2 million only after tax, that's still a lot if you invest it. You can make what, 120K a year off of 5%? Yeah, that would be a lot of money. And certainly we should be able to do that. Okay, Pinky says, I don't recommend anyone renting a room in their own home. It's too risky. It's getting harder and harder to get people out. If you're renting the place, it's the landlord's problem and you can move out. Yeah, that's true. Um, and I know, hi Debbie. I don't know if you were just in here a few minutes ago, but Challengers with Zendaya, the tennis movie, that is the #1 movie this weekend. And it looks good, but I haven't seen it yet. Also, Debbie, you like horror films. Abigail looks good to me. I don't know. I haven't seen that though, but that is a new horror movie that's out right now. So, yeah, the landlord thing is tricky. And I also used to think, so my mom lives in a trailer park and it's a 3-bedroom trailer. And I used to think, and she certainly has senior friends, that it seems like it would be like good to rent out a room to one of them. Our trailer park where my mom lives, it actually prevents you from renting um to anyone who's not, or like you're not allowed to have people in your house that aren't immediate relatives. So that kind of solved that for us. We didn't have to worry about it. So even though technically my mom would have the space, like that's against the trailer park rules. So she wouldn't be able to rent out a room. Like I could move back there with her. And guys, that is something that I think about. I think about renting out my house and going back and living with my mom. That way I could make money off of renting out my house and I could like be closer to my mom and like spend more time with her and all of that kind of thing. But again, like, um, I'm worried that I would pick wrong. And then when I wanted to move back into my house, that I might have problems. So for me, I think that that's more than I want to take on right now. And Airbnbs make me nervous. Like, I know a lot of people do it, and I know that there's tons of videos on YouTube about how to properly screen people and all of that. Um, but yeah, it makes me nervous, and I'm not sure that I'm up for it. Um, and there's a lot of YouTube videos now that I'm watching. Yeah, I'm always watching like finance YouTubers still. And I don't want anybody, if you want to own a home, I don't want anybody to give up on that dream of owning a home. I do think it's still possible. But with everything the way it is right now, it is getting harder. And there are a lot of like studies, the other YouTube videos, like not any that I've done, like discuss the benefits of still renting. And even here, side note, guys, everybody's heard about like the car insurance going up crazy and homeowners insurance is also going up crazy. My homeowner's insurance for the whole year used to be like $682. I got my new quote and it's over $1,800. So it's going up over $100 a month. So there are still, even though your homeowner cost should be a little bit more fixed and more stable, they're not necessarily. There's, I don't know, all sorts of maintenance that goes on. So it's not necessarily like as easy owning a home as some people make it out to. And yeah, I used to think when I rented an apartment, I used to be like, I can't wait to own my own house because I don't want to wait for the plumber to come on the landlord's time. Like, I don't want to have to miss work to stay home and wait for the plumber because that's when the landlord's sending the plumber. Well, now that I'm a homeowner, it's not that easy. It's not like I can just call a plumber and be like, oh, I want you to come Saturday morning at 9 a.m. The plumber comes, they're like, I'm available Tuesday at 3. And you're like, oh, well, I want to get this fixed. So I guess I'm still taking off Tuesday at 3. And I sort of tend to think that homeowners, sorry, my little alarm thing just went off that I got a text. I sort of think that people that own property, like they have repair people that they know and that they trust, like on ready to dial right away. Whereas I don't necessarily. So I am just kind of like calling whoever and hoping that I get good results. I recently had some electrical work done last year. I just realized I had 2 outdoor outlets installed. They put one of the outlets literally right under the rain drain spout. Why aren't my hands lining up on camera? I don't know. Anyway, so the rain literally falls onto the electrical box. Now the electrical box totally doesn't work. And so like that was just money down the drain. So I'm gonna have to call them and like get it fixed. I don't know why they wouldn't just like look up. I don't have like a 2-story house. I don't have a big house. Like I don't know why I don't this is what I don't get about the trades, right? I don't get why I'm paying a professional electrician and I'm like, I want an outlet here. Like, wouldn't it be their job to be like, hey, dum dum, me being the dum dum, hey, dum dum, don't put an electrical box right under your drain spout. Like, would that not be their job? Is that not something that they're looking at? Because, like, I didn't think about it, right? I was just like, oh, this seems like a convenient spot. It's near the door. I used to run an extension cord out my kitchen and into the backyard. So I was like, oh, if I just put it right near the door, this seems good. Um, no, it's under a rain drain spout. So that seems like not a good place to put electrical. And if I would have realized, I wouldn't have done that, but like I wasn't thinking about it. And anyway, whatever. Sorry. Went off on a tangent there. My point is that like it is nicer in a lot of cases to just have someone that you call and they fix it. Okay, Joel says, "Do not rent a room in your home unless you really trust them. Everyone else, stranger danger. LOL." And again, I'm going to say I did do a video with someone who a lot of YouTubers that I watch and I respect. I was in Graham Stephan's mentorship. He recommended house hacking. Meet Kevin recommends house hacking. This other guy that I watch and am friends with, J-Bay, that's who I made the video with, and he does house hacking, which is renting out rooms in your house that you're not using. When I first got promoted to a manager, I rented my coworker's living room and we put up like a curtain because the living room is kind of like attached to the kitchen. But we put up a dowel and we hung a curtain to like give me some privacy when I was sleeping. But I rented someone's living room. Now they were a friend. I accidentally annoyed them. We're still friends. That's who I went to go see Stevie Nicks with last month in New Orleans. February? When was that? February. That was 2 months ago now. Anyway, so I'm still in touch with him and we're still friends. But when I lived with him in his living room, I annoyed him and he was like, you gotta go, Shelly. So anyway, J Bay, who I did the video with about renting out rooms in your house, he says put cameras in the common areas and tell people that you're putting cameras in those common areas. He says that kind of keeps people like more accountable. Like you would be able to see if they were bringing like crazy a lot of guests in the house while you weren't there. You would be able to see if they had animals in the house when they weren't supposed to. All of that kind of thing. So you would be able to see if they were like stealing your TV and like moving it out for the front. He just really said that, like, cameras in the common areas, like, obviously not in bedrooms and not in bathrooms, um, but that having cameras in the house and, like, letting people know that those are set up and active helps with renting your room. Um, but yeah, I think it's just, like, a pain in the butt. The last person that I had rent this room, no, that might not be true. I had somebody from Russia who was, like, a friend. He stayed here for, like, a couple weeks. There was a strong language barrier that made, being a roommate difficult, but the person before that, I used to collect things, and I used to have these things in a glass doll case, and this person was like, "Oh, you don't need this," and then he was like, "It's too heavy, you don't need it." He took it out, he broke it, and he never replaced it. So people are annoying sometimes. Anyway, okay. Joel says, I see you guys spoke of lotteries. That mega $2.1 billion 23 winner Edwin Castro doesn't deserve it. Your parents on a fixed income do. LOL. Hopefully these people use the money to do something good. All right, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. If you guys could like the video, I would really appreciate that. Something else that someone asked me to talk about. Last week when I was sick, I made a post and I was like, what do you guys want to talk about? And someone said, da, 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 da. Where is it? They wanted to talk about like living in a foreign country on a fixed income as they're retiring. And some other people have asked me, based on my mom's living on Social Security video, why like we don't do something with that with her. And honestly, that's something that I'm considering when I get like old. Like I might want to go live in Thailand. So I would like to get into that today. Okay, Debbie though says that this is a good discussion on the rental topic. As the world changes before our eyes, proceed with caution. Yeah. And one of the videos that I never took my sip of coffee. I put it up to my mouth and asked you guys to like the video, and then I didn't drink any. So for real this time, like the video. Okay, so Graham Stephan's video today is like confronting the squatter in, Graham Stephan on the iced coffee hour. Excuse me, his podcast is like confronting the squatters in my rental property. Like that's the title of his video today. So I don't think it's Graham Stephan's property. I think it's his guest. But like I don't want to risk that. That seems crazy. And I don't want to ever wind up in court with tenants. So for me, at least right now, I don't think renting would be a good idea. I would like to maybe buy a laundromat. Don't ask. Like, I've been watching a lot of this lady, Cody Sanchez. I really like her videos. And she buys businesses. Like they say, buying boring businesses. So maybe I'd want to buy a laundromat. I don't know. Okay, let's look at these comments. Uh-oh, Mom. The number one comment, Mom, on your video about living on Social Security is that your cell phone cost is way too high. Ooh, call the carrier and they might drop it to $25. Okay. Okay, it was Kobe Cakes. They say that their husband is working. This is from a comment from like a topic that one of you guys wanted to talk about. Their husband's still working, they're retired, and they live in the Midwest. We still have to decide where they want to move, probably a warmer state when we both retire. I would like to talk about where Californians are moving to. Are they moving out of state from one county or city to another? Maybe talk about the difference in prices, income, and housing from one area to another. Okay, so that's not talking about like living out of the country, but I think a lot of Californians do live out of the country. Okay. Oh, I got it. Oh, Kobe Cakes. I was just talking about you. Okay, wait until you're retired full time and you try to structure your day. Cooking, cleaning, budgeting, and errands take up a big part of your day. Yeah, and my mom isn't working anymore. And while she misses working, she's always telling me like the day passes by. All right, Linda, do you have any tips for making sure that we would pick a good tenant? What about if you just, ooh, you know what, Alex? I don't know the website that you would do this. This is actually a good idea, Alex, if you can do this. As a matter of fact, okay, so right now, you guys know I'm still hoping to get this promotion. I still haven't found out anything about it. And if I don't get it, that's going to be okay too. Um, but I want the people that work there to know that I want that location. I think they're a great team. And if they don't pick me, but obviously I'm so awesome that if they pick somebody else, like they're going to be even more awesome than me. So it's going to be okay, like no matter what happens to that team. But business rentals. I can't tell you, in 2019, I traveled to San Diego and I was there. I wound up staying for like 9 months. Um, Hotels get to be expensive, right? So hotels get to be like $100 a month. You still need to have like do like see if you can run a credit check on these people. But a lot of times, like, companies are gonna send people we've got somebody right now staying 2 weeks, and I think they're in an Airbnb or a hotel that's probably at least $100 a night, at least, which is gonna be like $1,400. But when you're staying in a hotel, while it might be nice that you have, a maid every day, you don't have a kitchen, or you might be eating out a lot and maybe you want to eat your leftovers, but you don't really have like a good refrigerator to even keep leftovers in. Um, there might not be enough glasses or utensils. So, could you get like you'd want to provide more than an air mattress, but like maybe I don't know. When I traveled for work and I got out of the hotels, I got like a $99 foam mattress and I was just sleeping on the floor. There was no bed frame or anything. Um, but like, you would probably have to provide a bed, but maybe a business rental, because then not only is it the person saying, "Hey, I'm gonna only be here for a limited amount of time," but it's also kind of that person's company saying, "Yes, we're sending them here on a business trip, and they're going back to, like, wherever they actually live in, like, 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever it is." Um, so that's something that might be good, and that was really hard for me to find. I did eventually find like a short-term business rental to stay in versus so I got out of the hotels because like my trip kept getting extended. So it wasn't like I knew I was gonna go on business for 9 months. It was like it was 2 weeks, and then it was another 2 weeks, and then it was 3 weeks, and then it was another 3 weeks. And finally, when they knew I was gonna be there, like I can't remember, like maybe 2 to 4 months. I was like, "We should just go ahead and, like, get me a rental," but most rentals want you to sign, like, a whole year-long lease, and, that wasn't gonna work, right? Like, I wasn't gonna be there a whole year. Like, it kept getting extended, but we knew it probably wasn't gonna extend, like, a whole 'nother year from that point. Anyway, so short-term business rental might be the way to go, because not only is it the person saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be in your house and I'm gonna be respectful," and then you already know that they have a job, and then you also have the company vetting them saying, "Hey, we're gonna pay for their trip," but then they have a return ticket right back home. So, again, I'm not sure, like, what website, um, but a quick Google search. So maybe that might be a way to help make ends meet. Okay. Pinky says, if you're going to rent out a room or rooms, it's absolutely critical to know and understand the laws and have an attorney you can consult with. That's what I did when I used to rent out a room in my home. Yeah, that is definitely also good advice. Do a lot of research just to make sure that you're not caught up. Okay, Debbie says, the so-called professional worker today is not what they used to. Are they? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what that means. Which professional workers? Hopefully they are. Andrew says, if I knew there was a camera in the common area, I would have fun with it and dance in front of it, wink at it, and give it a thumbs up. All of that's fine. But like it prevents somebody from stealing your TV. It prevents somebody from having 8 guests over. It prevents someone from changing the locks. Um, I think it just keeps people and hopefully it makes them feel secure too. Like one of the things that I hear people tell me that they're worried about renting their room is that like, "Oh, I'm worried that someone else is going to go into my room when I'm not home." I wouldn't want somebody in my room when I wasn't home, especially somebody that I barely know. So having a camera in the common area, like, could help with that. Okay. Pinky says the people you trust, family and friends, are often the worst. Yes. People get really ugly when they're stressed about keeping a roof over their head. They also feel entitled to not paying their share. Yes, I will say that I have a coworker that I think gave me really good advice, and he said, "Don't rent to friends." It can make it harder. Like if it's, and I know that Alex, that you're going to rent to a friend. Sometimes it works. My best friend rents out my garage, but they don't stay there full time. They use it for work for home purposes. So they're not underfoot all the time, and we have a lot of separation even when they are there because they're not inside of the house. Unfortunately, every friend that I've had inside the house, it hasn't ended well, and in some cases it's ended the friendship. Um, just people's, like, the way they do dishes or the way they uh the person that I rented to, that we had the language barrier, uh, he had real stinky feet. So and he would like he was this was great, very respectful. He's used to his shoes off household, so he would take off his shoes right by the door as soon as he would come home. But unfortunately, those shoes by the door, that's the living room where I would often be watching TV, and his shoes just stank to high heaven. And like that's an uncomfy conversation, right? Like I didn't want to be like, ugh, like I don't want to try and figure out how to be like, hey, your shoes really smell. Leave them outside. Like, I don't know. I'm not good at that kind of confrontation about like telling somebody that might hurt their feelings. So that's what makes it tricky for me. So anyway, my old coworker said, "Do not rent to friends." Um because you might like that's pretty common that renting to friends makes it harder to set strong boundaries. Okay. This is interesting. Joel wants to know how my Prius is doing running like a champ. It is still running like a champ. So in November of last year, I did have to replace that hybrid battery. I think that you knew that. Um, oh, okay. We're going to talk about going to another country, and we'll talk about different counties and cities in California in a second as well. Um, so the Prius is still running good. I'm still really happy with it. I still love the way a Tesla looks, but I don't think I would buy a Tesla right now. I like, um, when I need to replace my car, I think I would probably go the route of another Prius because they're cheaper than Teslas and like I'm already comfortable with them. Okay. Debbie says yes. Talk about relocating to another country to go there with this topic. Okay. And then Pinky says, you're retired on a fixed income, planning a move to Portugal, Thailand, Panama, and Costa Rica are also affordable. Medical care is also less expensive. Your best friend forever retired in Thailand and lives like a king on $1,500. Yeah. So that was one of the comments. So I First of all, Pinky, I'm not sure if you were around. I know you've been around for a long time on the channel, but I haven't seen you pop in for a while. So I took a trip to Portugal pretty recently. And yeah, the food there was pretty affordable, like coffees, things like that. I didn't look into rent when I was in Portugal. It felt very safe. I will say that Portugal has a lot of hills, which I was not a fan of. Like the walking there, oh my goodness, but it's very walkable. The people seemed friendly. I felt safe. It was beautiful. Um, so yeah, I've never been to Thailand, but that is and they have excellent medical care in Thailand. All right, I think it's time to like split the screen while we We will. Oops. Living in Thailand. What's Thailand? Okay, living in Thailand. A guide. Look at that. I mean, this is really beautiful. Okay, so we're going to read this article about living in Thailand. Before I talk about living in Thailand, and I'm just going to share that this is my first time researching that at all. I mean, like I've certainly heard that people do that. I've heard about the low cost of living there. I've heard about the good medical care. I've just never like really researched it much. But Kobe was looking at. Oh, I'm getting their name wrong. They were asking about different areas of California. I feel like California is pretty expensive. Kobe cakes. Like no matter where you live, and there's so many homeless people right now. Like I frequently talk about the people walking on the freeway. And yesterday something came up on like my TikTok feed or Instagram. I don't remember, but it was all these police SUVs and they were chasing somebody on a bicycle on the freeway. And so all the cars on the freeway were stopped while the police SUVs were chasing someone riding a bicycle. It's so weird. I love California. I love that you can go to the beach and the mountains in the same day. And I have recently been to the beach, but I have to be honest, it's been a while. Oh, okay, Pinky. Gotcha. Oh yeah, we went to Lisbon in Portugal, and that was where it was hilly. And we went to Sintra, and that was also hilly, also, but beautiful. And the cobblestone streets, and you were watching. Got it. Okay, well, thanks for being active today. And yeah, that's good to know. Okay, so I got sidetracked. Okay, so California is just kind of like it's not what it used to be. There are areas in Orange County that are really nice. San Francisco's getting icky. There's just a lot of icky areas, and I don't have a solution, right? I say this every time. Like, it's not an easy job for the politicians. I think that we have a whole lot of homeless people. I don't know what to do with them. Everybody's like, well, just make them move. But like, then you get into moral and ethical questions. If they really don't want to go, is it right to force them? Like, if they're happy sleeping in a tent, like, is it fair to force another human being to do something that they don't want to do? Like, should they be sleeping on the sidewalk? That's a whole different thing. Maybe not. But like to forcibly make them move, which is I think what a lot of it's come down to. Like they're okay on the side of the street. They don't care that they're inconveniencing people. They don't want to go. And I don't know why they don't want to go, but they don't. So then would it be right to force them? And I don't know. And I don't want to be the one. I don't think it's right to force somebody to do something that they don't want to do. But at the same time, like I also don't think it's not safe. Sometimes you see people totally set up camp in like a little alcove, like an exit door of a business. Then it's not safe for the people inside of the business if they needed to get out in emergency. It's really tricky. Okay. So I'm not sure I'd recommend anywhere in California right now. San Diego's still a little bit better, in my opinion, but maybe that's just because I don't spend as much time in San Diego. I think all of it's getting really, really rough. But Kobe Cakes, if there's an area in California that you're considering, let me know. Also, like our tax rate's really high. So like there's personal tax as well as like sales tax and all of that, or individual tax, I think it's called, like a 15 or state tax. We have a lot of taxes in California, which makes it a really expensive state to retire in, which is why so many people totally move out of the state. Okay. Living in Thailand. Are you thinking of living in Thailand? 3.6 million migrants living in Thailand as of 2022. I'm going to take another sip of coffee. You guys like the video? Moving to Thailand is becoming increasingly popular among expatriates. Something else that I would want to consider when moving out of California, like I don't like how involved the United States is in other areas, like political affairs. So I would like to I don't want to go to war basically ever. That really scares me. Fighting and violence scares me. So I, I mean, wouldn't we all like to live somewhere where there's not much threat of violence or war, and where there's not a lot of threat for natural disasters, right? So that's what I would want to do. Okay, Pinky says, I'm 60, California born and raised, and it's definitely not the place it used to be. Yeah, and I've seen so many changes probably in the last like maybe 5 years. It just seems like it's gotten a lot worse. Um, and I don't know what the answer is to that. And a lot of the nice things about California, like that the beach is so close, or that you can make it to the I can make it to the beach and I can swim or surf, and I can make it to the mountains and ski or snowboard. But the truth is, I'm getting closer to 50, and I haven't surfed in many, many years. I did swim in the ocean. I've swam in the ocean already this year. Still love the beach and the ocean, but I haven't been snowboarding in years. I'm not sure that my knees would still take it. So a lot of the things that make California still desirable, I don't know if I'm using as much as I used to. Okay, Pinky says, when I move to Portugal, I will have to pay some taxes, but I'll be getting something in return, affordable healthcare. Yeah. And Kobe says, we dreamed of living in a foreign country. Now we're thinking about moving closer to relatives and warmer places. Palm Springs. Okay, I haven't been to Palm Springs in a long time, but Palm Springs still has a pretty good retirement community. Not like retirement community, but it's a lot of people that move there because of the nice weather. And it's still like more affordable than Los Angeles. And it's probably far enough out from like the major cities. Like one of the reasons I think that we have a lot of homeless people right here near the beach is because I think like if you go down to Venice Beach, they have public showers, right? They're designed to like wash the sand off your feet before you go back to your car, or to get the salt water out of your hair after you've gone swimming in the ocean, that kind of thing. But but there's public showers there. So why wouldn't, if I was going to be homeless, I would want to be homeless somewhere near public showers. And so Venice Beach fits that nicely. So I feel like oh, and Santa Barbara is really nice, but it's not cheap at all. Santa Barbara, Santa Cruz, um Palm Springs, some of the areas in Orange County, like there's still really nice areas in California. And there's in the areas that aren't so nice, then you've got a lot of culture, a lot of museums, a lot of restaurants, that kind of thing. So there, like California is still a really cool place. It's just also got some not cool things as well. Okay. So if you're asking yourself, should I move to Thailand? Perhaps this guide will help you decide. They'll cover how to find a job, a place to live, and explain some of the ins and outs of daily life in Thailand as an expat. Healthcare and insurance, cost of living and moving to Thailand. I think I'm going to switch to that. But this article, which is on the william-russell.com blog, the expat guide to living in Thailand. Is that Thailand? Central Business District of Bangkok. Look how beautiful that is. That pretty much looks like it could be LA. That's crazy. Okay. Cost of living and moving to Thailand, what to expect from living to Thailand, how can I find accommodation, jobs, visas, and working in Thailand, cost of living and moving to Thailand, healthcare and insurance in Thailand, and your handy moving to Thailand checklist. Okay, I think I'm most interested in Article 4. I don't know if I'm going to read this whole thing. Cost of living and moving to Thailand. So that's what we're going to just skip to that. Okay. Oh, interesting. Thailand has been affected by the cost of living crisis in early 2020. Since late 2021, the rate of inflation has increased from negative 0.02 to 5.73. This is still lower than the UK's rate of inflation, which was 6.2 at the end of February 2022. Still, consumer goods and general costs are becoming more expensive in Thailand. However, this is not such a big problem compared to Western nations because the general cost of living is still significantly lower than in countries like the UK. Numbeo puts the average cost of living at 35% lower than the UK, with the cost of rent 61% lower. Having said that, GDP per capita is much lower in Thailand than in Western countries, at US $7,186 compared to the UK's US $41,059. Going to be honest, that does not mean a whole lot to me. I would have to research all those terms and like what that really means. And then of course they're sort of talking about like the UK versus the US, but that's okay. Okay. Moving to Thailand can be very expensive, especially if you want to ship your own belongings from home. The cost of moving a family house with a standard amount of furniture and possessions from the UK can cost between £2,300 and £5,500. If you bring your own car to Thailand, it is free for the first 6 months, but after this, you have to pay an import tax of 200% of the car's value. That's interesting. Okay, banking and finance. Okay, could be complicated, they say. Health insurance. Let's read that because I know that the health insurance is really expensive here. It's absolutely essential that you take out health insurance. According to Thai law, all expats living in Thailand must be covered by either public Thailand health insurance, which is only available to working expats enrolled on the Universal Coverage Scheme, or private health insurance. If you opt for public health insurance, you have access to Thailand's state healthcare system. The 2021 Legatum Prosperity Index ranked it 27th in the world. However, you may experience long waits for treatment. So many expats choose international health insurance. This offers access to private clinics and hospitals and faster access to treatment, as well as additional insurance to cover things such as maternity and cancer treatment. Buddhism is the religion there. Okay, let's look at, have you researched, this is the checklist. Have you researched places you'd like to live? If you found an apartment, have you contacted the landlord to make an offer? If you've agreed to a place to live, have you received your tenancy agreement? Work. Have you received a job offer from a Thai employer who meets the eligibility criteria to sponsor your application? Have you started your application for your non-immigrant B visa and Thai work permit? Do you have all the paperwork necessary to complete your work permit application? Passport photos, medical certificate, passport, letter of employment, proof of degrees, proof of address. Do you have the cash available to pay the necessary fees? If you're already living in Thailand on a work permit, are you able to check into the embassy at least once every 3 months? Healthcare. If you are depending on state healthcare, are you enrolled in the Universal Coverage Scheme? If you need to take private healthcare, have you taken out international health insurance before moving to Thailand? Have you looked into other forms of health insurance, such as life insurance and income protection? Banking. Do you have all the necessary paperwork to complete your application for a bank account, including a copy of your visa, passport, proof of address, proof of employment, letters of reference from your home embassy, home bank, education institution, etc.? Relocation. Have you looked into the cost of relocation? If you're bringing your own furniture from home, have you received a reliable quote from a shipping company? Have you looked into schooling for your children? And before you go, moving to another country can be challenging, but you can ensure peace of mind by making sure you have the right international health insurance. For 30 years, we've helped expats like you move and settle into their new lives overseas. Speak to us today. Okay, so this, okay. All right. Pakistan. All right. So that didn't necessarily tell me a lot of like really detailed information, but okay. Slap says claimer is good. Yes, they definitely helped a lot of people get through unemployment. You got it from me during the pandemic. You think for unemployment because before nobody answered. Yes, that is true. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, if you retire there, you have to prove a minimum income. Okay, so let's look at the minimum income. What are the requirements to retire in Thailand? Ooh, it knew. Okay. Let's look. Let's read this. Okay. I'm not even going to go off the Google page. We're just going to, maybe we'll do. Okay. Step 1, obtain a non-immigrant visa. Step 2, obtain a 1-year Thai retirement visa extension. So it says proof of meeting financial requirements such as bank statement for income, but it doesn't say. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to see if it says where meeting the financial requirements for a retirement visa. Okay. Thai bank account showing a minimum of, I don't know what the Thai currency is. I feel like it's bots, BHATS, but I might be wrong on that. And okay. Or monthly income of at least 65,000. But that's not like dollars. Hold on. Maybe we better see. Okay, 800,000 or 65,000. Okay, so now we got to go to currency converter. Currency converter. So dollar to THB. Yeah, it is bots. Okay, so if we needed 800,000, no, not US dollars. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you would need a bank account. Okay, this seems not that bad. So you would need in your bank account to move to Thailand $21,612. Or what did it say? Was that how much a month? Or how much a month? I already forgot. 65,000. Okay. 65,000. So you would need to show an income of $1,756 a month to retire in Thailand. Okay. Elon Musk visited China. Okay. Oh, interesting. You've got a friend named Veronica. You've got a friend named Pinky, and their real name is Veronica. Oh, yeah. Oh, Pinky, you already knew. It went up a little. It used to be 20K, and now it's 21K to be able to move there. All right, guys. I actually think I'm gonna hop out because my throat's starting to bother me. I have to work tonight. Mom, I was supposed to have the day off yesterday, but then this is the worst ever for a movie theater. Our popcorn machine broke, the Pasadena one. So I went to work yesterday. I picked up some popcorn. So first of all, everybody wants fresh popcorn, right? And of course you want fresh popcorn. But movie theater popcorn is not going to taste bad even if they have not freshly popped it. Like think about when you go to the gas station, you know how they have like those bags of popcorn and they have like the little circus kind of tent logo at the top. that didn't just freshly come out of a popper and it still tastes great. Um, but when a popcorn machine breaks at a movie theater, first of all, like, that's, like, the number one that's, like, a manager's, like, worst, nightmare. But normally they just contact another local movie theater, and they have that theater pop some popcorn for them to that day, and then they transport it. Um, so that's what I did yesterday is I transported some popcorn from one location to another, still freshly it was, like, still popped, like, same day, right? There is salt in movie theater popcorn, so that helps, like, preserve the fresh taste even if it didn't just come out of the popper. So it's still gonna taste really good even if that ever has to happen where you're at, but that is, like, a movie theater manager's worst nightmare. But so yesterday I transported popcorn, and then, at the location that I'm hoping to work at permanently, they just finished, renovation on the bar, and so they really wanted the bar to be open, so after I got done taking popcorn to the one location, I drove back to the other location and, had the bar open. So yeah, I'm gonna hop out today because I do still have to work today, and then my next day off is Wednesday, but I already have plans on Wednesday, so I'm not sure when I'm coming to see you, but it'll be soon, and as soon as I'm feeling better because I don't want to get you sick. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next week. All right, bye.